Hello Trophy Hunters, welcome to my 1000 subscriber question and answer, which I promised a couple videos back. There I am now on a even smaller screen. And you guys asked loads of great questions, some fantastic questions. Some are pretty deep, some people asked 2 or 3 or 4, and I think I'm ready and okay to answer all of them if you guys are cool enough to sit down with me and go through them, and we'll get to know me a little better and perhaps talk about, what I like, what I don't, all the stuff you want to know. So I think I've sorted by the order that they were asked. If they weren't, maybe you can just follow on the video by sorting by top on the top left, and maybe you could follow along if you want to do so. But first question is from the lovely Chestnut Rice, and she says, who was your very first video game crush? Brackets, this may or may not be for hypothetical cosplay research. Hee hee. Also, your most memorable trophy journey. I'll let you guys figure that one out. So, my first game crush, I grew up in the 90s, so that in itself should answer quite a lot. We're talking Resident Evil, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy, Tifa and Aerith, Dino Crisis, Regina. I think I'm going to have to go with Jill Valentine. And yeah, Jill even tops Samus Aran for me. Super Metroid would have been then as well. Oh god, but then we're going back even further. We're going before PlayStation. We're going Chun-Li, Mortal Kombat 2 as well. Mortal Kombat 2 Katana. Bugger. There's a lot of choice. I'm going to have to go with Cammy. It's completely out of nowhere. Cammy from Super Street Fighter 2. In fact, that's what's playing in the background there. That game there is probably one of the first games I played where I was like, wow, who's that? That's Cammy, that is. And of course, she's, the English military assassin, and she's really cool. So yeah, first video game crush, Cammy. God, I went around a circle there. As for your second question, your most memorable trophy journey. Probably, I'd have to go Street Fighter 5, I think. Another Street Fighter answer, to be honest. It's my hardest platinum, and it felt the hardest as well. That's a true 10 out of 10, and people don't just say that. It's very, very difficult. So earning that platinum was like, oh god, it was like a massive payoff. I was up and down the rank systems like snakes and ladders. For every 1 or 2 fights I would win, I'd then lose 3 or 4 in a row. I would get demoted, go up and down. If anyone's ever played any fighting game ranked, you know what I mean. You have 1 or 2 good games, you think you're doing well, and then suddenly you're on a massive loss streak, and it's just brutal. So yeah, getting to Gold League on that platinum was a massive achievement, and I'll always remember it, and it's been one of my favorites. So yeah, great question, thank you. So now we have Lahole8544. Good mate of mine. He's on PSN. I know he likes Monster Hunt and some other stuff. So he's asked, I'm making music for a game right now. That's very cool, dude. I would like to know more about that. So I would love to hear what your favorite video game soundtracks are, and if there is only one song that really stuck with you. You can answer however many you want, because I know it can be difficult to only pick a few. You're not wrong, man. I could put all my favorite franchises on the wall, throw a couple of darts, and whatever it lands on, I could say, yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. So, what comes to mind straight away? Super Metroid, the Samus theme, any Metroid music. Metroid Dread was awesome. Metroid Fusion has some really cool music. Anything from Final Fantasy, and literally any Final Fantasy as well. We go to this cool, I forget what it's called, but it's like a Final Fantasy orchestra. It's in London every year. We often go once every 2 or 3 years, something like that, and that's just awesome. So my favourite Final Fantasy track would be Terra's theme, One Winged Angel, of course, Final Fantasy main theme. There's so many good songs in that series. And then we're gonna go with, there's one in Resident Evil 2 I really like. It's literally called Leon and Claire. because obviously when I'm making videos about whatever games, I look up so much music to do with the game, you know, what I want in the background and the vibe I want to give in the video. So I listen to a lot of music in preparation whilst editing. So I revisit a lot of classics, so to speak, and they always stick with me. And then, of course, we've got anything Street Fighter related. Anything Street Fighter. My favourite Street Fighter theme is, well, you got Ryu, you got Rose theme, Sakura's theme. Wonderful, they're really cool. And then anything Tekken. Absolutely any Tekken music whatsoever is wonderful. And God, when you said you can pick a few, you didn't really think I might pick like 10. However, there's one that really might stick above all of them, and that is from a game called Divinity Original Sin 2, and the theme is called Rivellon, and it's the theme that plays in the overworld or if you're on your ship. This is just a wonderful CRPG, turn-based. It's by Larian Studios, who of course went on to make Baldur's Gate 3, the juggernaut that is that game. So they're a massive prestige AAA developer with so much passion for their games, and I forget what the composer is called, and I think even if I did remember, I wouldn't be able to pronounce it. But yeah, Divinity Original Sin 2, Rivellon. Wonderful song. Look that up, man. I highly recommend it. Thanks for your question, dude. So on the next one, we've got Beto Sanchez 1909, and he says, name a PS3, a PS4, and a PS5 game that you want to get to platinum, but for some reason you cannot obtain. Greetings from Mexico. Greetings, my friend. Greetings. So, yeah, brilliant question, man. Name a PS3, PS4, and PS5 platinum I want, but I can't. PS3, I will have to go with Mortal Kombat 9. Completely unobtainable. I imagine the answer to these three will be unobtainables, but yeah, Mortal Kombat used GameSpy multiplayer servers, so the it's completely offline now. You can't do multiplayer, and there's quite a few multiplayer trophies associated with that game, which is a shame because when I bought Mortal Kombat 9, I wasn't into fighting games or as good at them as I was now. I've since gone back to Mortal Kombat 9, learned some characters, and it's just such a cool, deep, mechanically sound fighting game that I would love to play multiplayer, and I just haven't got the opportunity to anymore. And I would love to platinum, but there's a trophy in the MK9 that is literally like, you've got to use every character, and every character has mastery, and the trophy is for gaining mastery with every character. And it's something like you've got to play for 24 hours game time, do like 10,000 fatalities, and it's literally a long grind. But I would go for it. If it was available, I would go for it. So that's the PS3 answer. The PS4 game, and what comes to mind? Killzone Shadowfall. Killzone Shadowfall, because that is also unobtainable, and it's the only Killzone game that I'm missing. Yeah, it's the only Killzone game that I don't have the platinum for. So I want to go back to it and get all the single player stuff, you know, get the percentage as high as I possibly can. But I'll never have the platinum for it unless something servery is worked out. As for the PS5 game, I don't think there's anything on PS5 that I want that is unobtainable. You know, you could say, oh god, I don't know, there must be something unobtainable, but I'm going to go with Subnautica. Why not? Yeah, Subnautica, PS5 version, scary, bloody underwater game that I just can't bring myself to play. So I can't get that platinum because it's too scary. I'll put it like that. The underwaterness both fascinates me and terrifies me at the same time. I would love to get that platinum. I'll go for it one day. I'll go for it again. So yeah, thank you for your question, mate. That was really good. All right, now we've got Aya Smith, who asks 2 questions. Any PC only or Xbox game series that you would love to come to PlayStation? I'll answer that one first, and then we'll read the second one. So, what do I want to play on that? I would say Gears of War. If I did this video 3-4 weeks ago, I would have said Gears of War. Actually, no, I can still answer this as Gears of War 2, because the one coming to PlayStation is a remaster of the first game. So they're yet to announce, you know, a Gears of War 2 remake, but it's pretty much a given, right? So maybe that's a bit of a cop-out. We're going to say, what other Xbox series do I like? Obviously Halo. I would love Halo to come to PlayStation. I mean, you can pretend to be a fan, you know, a fanboy all you want, and console wars and all that. And I used to be like that, I really did. But I have an Xbox. I bought Xboxes in the past. I love playing PC games. I probably play PC games more than the PlayStation itself. You know, console wars are irrelevant. It's just PlayStation is where not my allegiance, it's where my back catalogue is, where my money goes into. You know, my digital library is the biggest on the PlayStation, and that's because that's where I've spent the most time. I've spent less time on Xbox, but I still have games and series that I love. So yeah, Halo would be wonderful for me to play on PlayStation and get trophies for. I'm going to say Killer Instinct as well. Killer Instinct is a fighting game that I haven't had much experience with on Xbox and Windows, but I would love to get to know it better, and that's probably what I would say about that. As for PC only stuff, we're probably going to go into MMO territory. I'm going to say Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is one of my favourite MMOs that I've played, and I could probably count the ones I've played on, you know, 2 hands, 1 hand or whatever. But Guild Wars 1 is like one of my favourite games, literally, of all time. I've spent thousands of hours. We're talking 5,000 probably. And this was in my college days, so ages and ages ago. Guild Wars 2, I've played a little less. You know, I'm probably about 1,000 hours in it over the last, 10 years. But I always go back to it every now and again. I love the world and the characters and the skills. And after playing Final Fantasy XIV and Neverwinter on the PlayStation, MMOs work fine on console. You know, the button mapping is complicated at first, but it's really good and it's possible. So why not bring Guild Wars to PlayStation? That would be sick for me. And your second question is, recently there has been lots of film and TV show adaptations of games. Some good, some not. Some good, we're going to say Last of Us. Some not, we're going to say Halo, I suppose. The Halo series was not good. Any games that you could think could make a good adaptation? I'm going to go instantly with not Resident Evil. I forgot to mention Resident Evil. I love the Resident Evil films, but they're so, you know, they're terrible. They're so bad that it's a guilty pleasure, put it like that. So one I would love John Carpenter to take a stab at, which is the director of The Thing, and he's gone on record to say he wants to direct a Dead Space movie. Can you imagine John Carpenter's Dead Space? Just let that sink in. Pretend he's got complete studio backing, no interference, all the money he wants, and his dream cast, whoever that might be. I'm not even sure who I'd want to be Isaac Clarke. I forget what Gunnar Wright actually looks like. He's the actor, the voice actor for Isaac. So I can't remember if they based the appearance off of him. He's in another film though. Gunnar Wright, who plays Isaac Clarke. He's in a horror film, I think, called Underwater with Kirsten Stewart, which is a brilliant film. Actually, I really like that film. Not very gory, but it's still horror. So yeah, my answer would be Dead Space. Who would you want to play Isaac? We'll have a think about that. That'd be a good little chat. Wonderful question. Thank you, sir. Then we have the wonderful Blinkoom, who says, happy early birthday. It's my birthday at the end of the month. And his questions, he's got a few questions here. What kind of music do you listen to generally? And what are a few of your favourite bands? What's the origin of the name Mode 47? And what keeps you motivated in trophy hunting? Do you have just that natural drive, or is there anything external that amps you up for it? Great questions, dude. Always good to see you. I love Blink's videos. Please check him out. He's done a trophy review on me, which I loved watching. That was one of the best hours of recent memory. That was really fun. So thanks for doing that again, dude, and thanks for the questions. So, what kind of music do you listen to? We'll just say metal, right? What have I got? Iron Maiden? Here we go. Iron Maiden. I think there's another music question later on. I will go into it a bit deeper then. I'm quite sure there's another music question, but For now, we'll just say metal. We'll say metal and rock and emo and whatever else I fancy listening to. I do listen to a lot of different stuff. I even listen to like EDM and electric music and all sorts, man, all sorts. But yeah, mainly metal. But I'll go into my favourite bands a bit later because I'm quite sure there's another question about it. What's the origin of the name Mode 47? So this is as boring or interesting as you take it, but basically when the PS3 came along, we wanted a new PSN account, right? We all needed to make a PSN account. I had a handle or two before Mode 47. I was actually called Unreal Force, Unreal _ Force, or technically capital U, small n, capital R, small E, A, capital L. It was ridiculous. I'll put it on the screen. When you're, when you're like, I don't know, 40, 50, you just want to put caps in random places for no reason. So Unreal Force was my name, but when PSN hit, I couldn't find any good variation that was available that I liked. I wasn't going to be Force 87 or something, just didn't feel right to me. So I thought, I'll just make a new name. And then I thought, well, what am I going to call myself? I couldn't think of anything. I was playing Xenosaga, and that's a brilliant RPG, one of my favourites on the PS2. It's kind of like in the same universe or same vein as Xenogears and Chronicles and that current series of games, but Xenosaga is really the only one I've played. One of the main characters called Cosmos has a buff move, and it is literally raises strength and defense. I think it's nothing special, it's not a limit break or anything. I just really liked the name of it, which was Mode, and I thought it was 47. That's why I've called myself after this name, Mode 47. But my TV back then was so bad, it couldn't even display SD stuff properly. Or maybe it was an early HD TV, and as I was playing Xenosaga, I couldn't read it properly. But basically, the move is called Mode A7. So my whole Mode 47 life is a lie. I should be Mode A7 because that's what I've named myself after. But I read it as 47. Nothing to do with Hitman, nothing to do with AKs. I just misread something and that's it. So yes, take that as you will. It's quite funny, quite boringly funny, if you will. And your third question is, what keeps you motivated in trophy hunting? Ah, yes, I did read that already. So, I mean, I would say it's completion, but my completion rate's like 60%. I think it's the value, I like seeing every facet of a video game, and I think trophies allow for that. I can only think of one video game where getting the platinum didn't mean seeing every corner of the game, and that was Albedo Eyes from Space. You could get the platinum without finishing the game. In 99% of every other case, the platinum usually asks you to get all collectibles, see multiple endings, see different difficulties, hidden secrets and collectathons. It makes you spend more time with a game. It makes you challenge yourself for something you wouldn't usually go for. And it's wonderful to get like a digital completion reward at the end. I mean, that's the motivation I need. So I like to compare the platinums I have to other people, and to say that, oh, I've got a 0.47% platinum in Mortal Kombat vs DC, I like being able to say that. I think that's fun. And then to a lesser extent, being first to get a platinum, I like the idea of that, but I don't really go for that. So yeah, I'd guess the main motivation is literally completion and being able to see every corner of a game that the trophies allow that you wouldn't necessarily go for otherwise. So yeah, thank you for your questions, man. That was a good one. Right. Dapang says, my goat, hope you reach your milestone soon. Thank you, my friend. It wasn't too long after this. So you've got a couple questions. You said, what's your favourite out of all of the videos you've created so far? That's a great question. I personally adore your painful trophy memories and Signalis video. I rewatch them every so often. That's wild to me that someone would rewatch one of my videos a few times. So thank you, dude. It's gonna make me blush. So yeah, you've picked two really good ones there. That painful trophy memories one was one of the first ones where, when I was editing it and making it, it just it felt like a good video. I don't know if anyone who has made anything creative like music or a video before and as you're making it, you're like, yeah, this is pretty sick. This is going to be a good one. And that one was one of the first that I felt that way. As for your second one, the Signalis video, that's one of my, not only is it one of my favorite video games I've played ever, like that's one of the more recent, probably in my top 10 video games of all time entries, right? That video, I loved doing the intro in, and I really tried to portray like how much I loved that game in that intro. I tried to make it a bit spooky, a bit weird with the music in the background. So I don't know, man, it might be that Signalis video because of the intro. I'll have to rewatch it to actually decide. Another one that I really like that I did was the Dead Space, my first Dead Space video, which, you know, it got like 100 views. Even now it's probably not on much more than that. But the intro was the first time I put my mug, my face in the video, and I put it over the electric kind of communication device, and it had a really cool vibe to that intro. So if you're going to watch that video, ignore the rest of it, but watch the first minute, and that intro is one of the favorites that I've done. So yeah, that's a great question, dude. Which 100% completion of a game that had no platinum is your favorite? I've got a lot of favorites that I've done, and I love 100%. You know, every video is like, oh, platinum this, platinum that, but 100% are important to me. And I've got a few. I want to shout out Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. That comes with like all the alphas, Street Fighter 2s, loads of different versions. But the game itself was really fun, and you had to go for a ranked blue belt trophy, which was just as enjoyable as Street Fighter 5 for me. So I like that one a lot. My actual favourite though, oh no, I've got two to say actually. We've got the Swapper, which is a really cute little puzzle. I say cute, it's actually quite daunting and quite downtrodden and depressing, but it's a small game, and you're a little spaceman who can clone himself, and it asks some really cool questions, like if I clone myself and then I jump into my clone and then the original body falls down a massive hole and dies, am I still me? That's pretty deep, yeah. And so that's a really good game. But the winner is Soma for me. Soma is so many things. It's wonderful, it's haunting, it's depressing, it's horrible, it's destructive. There's so many lessons and feelings in that game, and it is terrifying. And the worst thing about it is the actual gameplay. I can love and enjoy a game even if the gameplay is bad. If the narrative speaks to me in a certain way with its music, its atmosphere, its logs, its voice acting, then that can elevate above gameplay for me. And at the same time, that's on the flip side as well. If a game has nothing but wonderful gameplay, and it is light on story, what's an example of that? That's not 100%, but Resogun hasn't got a story. Save the Last Human, right? But the gameplay is so tight, so wonderful that it's elevated. So both sides of that coin can mean I love a game. But yes, Soma is my favorite 100%, and I really, really think you guys should check that out. And your third question is, what do you like to do for fun besides trophy hunting and gaming? Oh god. Okay, well, I love music, I love editing. I guess that that brings into it. That's legitly something I like to do for fun. I do like to edit, which is, you know, the thumbnails, the videos and whatever. I like to create stuff. I love cinema, I love movies, horror and sci-fi, you know, comics, you name it, anime, why not? You know, I love anime. I'm guessing I'm pretty much like all of you guys in that I like what I like, but what's the main thing I like besides those two things? We're gonna say horror, sci-fi, aliens, Predator, and all that good stuff. I have figures, I watch the movies all the time. I'm like an annoying commentary track whenever we watch certain films. I'm like, well, did you know this is because yada yada yada, like Aragorn breaking his foot in Lord of the Rings, which everyone knows is like a meme now. I'm like that, but with like every other scene in Aliens. I just know it too much. So yeah, that's what I really, really love. I hope that answers that for you, buddy. Okay, and then we have Mr. Platinum Vault. I'm reading it as if it's, you know, just a random person. It's Score. And my new wonderful trophy hunting friends that I've made through this medium. I never would have met Score probably, or talked to him had I not started making videos. So already I'm appreciative for that kind of thing. I have 2 questions, says Score. What are your top 3 bands, music artists of all time? This is the other music question I mentioned. And what are your 3 most wanted platinums? So for the music ones, we're going to go Heaven Shall Burn, which is a German metalcore band. They are my favourite. My first song I heard of them was called Counterweight. And their newest song that I've heard of theirs is Confounder. They've got a new song out now. Yes, they're aggressive as hell, but it's the lyrics. It's the lyrics that speak to, even if they just sound angry and heavy metal, I would implore you to watch one of their songs with the lyrics up and let me know what you think. So yeah, Heaven Shall Burn is my favourite. We Butter the Bread with Butter, another German band actually, and they actually sing in German, and they're just nuts. They're like electric, German, metal, pig squeals, you know, really heavy stuff, but awesome. Songs you should check out of them, Dre Alf, Nice is wicked. Loads of good songs they have. So yeah, I'd recommend We Butter the Bread with Butter. They're really cool. And a third band we're gonna go with, I wanted to go something not heavy, but I'm gonna have to say Killswitch Engage. Killswitch Engage really were the band I loved growing up. You know, other than, you know, Linkin Park, Blink. You know, you name any band like that, Green Day, anything, Metallica, Maiden, of course, obviously. Maiden, but yeah, I think my third one would be Killswitch Engage. And there's 2 sides of that. There's 3 sides to it actually. It started with Jesse Leach, their original releases, and then you know, you got the Howard Jones era with Rose of Sharon, End of Heartache, all those good songs, and then Jesse Leach returned, and that's who the current frontman is the original. So I've seen them a few times and they're wonderful. People should know Killswitch. I would say that's the band people will know the most out of the ones I like. So yeah, check them out. And as your second question, 3 most wanted platinums. It's kind of similar to the other fella who said what platinums would you want on their different formats, but I guess I'm going to take this as obtainable and platinums I want right now. So I've got a game called Kill Knight that is bastard hard. It's a bullet hell. It's like if Doom and Hades made a game together with a really cool soundtrack on top of those already good soundtracks, you know. So Kill Knight, I would say. God, I can't think. I have to have a little look around on my PlayStation. Divinity or Original Sin 2, which I mentioned earlier, with the wonderful music. I really would like this platinum. Mostly, so, well, firstly, it's awesome, but secondly, I want to move on to Baldur's Gate 3, something I got on offer in December or maybe in the January sale, and look, here we are, five or 6 months later, and I still haven't really started it. So I want to get Divinity Original Sin, and what else have I got installed? We're going to go with Aliens, Colonial Marines, Jesus, never say that game. Aliens Fireteam Elite, which I very kindly had a few offers for people to go through it with me. A nice fella called Marcus Phoenix YouTube has invited me to a group, and he's always, you know, he's giving me tips, he's sending me screenshots of his builds. He's a really good fella. I haven't really got around to trying it or giving it a go yet, but that's the only Aliens platinum I'm missing. So I would really like that, and yeah, Marcus, I'll talk to you about that when I can, mate, because I would like to get that. Alright, thank you for your question, Score. So, moving on. We have Cosmic Agony. He's a frequent commenter and a nice fella. So, what do we have? Question 1. We've got 3 questions from him. Why do you trophy hunt, and do you think you'll ever stop? I mean, I kind of covered why I trophy hunt. I like the completion aspect of it. I like knowing I've seen everything a game has to offer, and challenging myself to earn the platinum. You know, for me, it's not about the number of platinums I have. I like the games I love, and there's nothing greater love for me than showing the platinum I have for it. And I like the completion. And do you think you'll ever stop? Hell no. Hell no. I'll never stop trophy hunting. I may stop going for completion as much. You know, I'm not bothered. If something's got a platinum and it's got 50% DLC, I don't mind that. I've got the platinum for it. I'm cool. So I might go off completion a bit. I'll never be one of those trophy hunters that super cares about having, you know, 95%. I'll also never be one of those trophy hunters that cares about number. I love the number I have. I've got 252 at the moment, something like that. And I'll always take mind of my milestones because I think that's fun. But I'll never stop. No, definitely not. As long as I can, put it that way. Why did you start making YouTube videos on trophy hunting? Well, my friend, I just thought I trophy hunt so much and I'm quite passionate about it, and I feel like maybe knowledgeable about a lot of different games. I have experience going for some of the harder ones. But really, it might be the niche that... It's not really a niche. There's other people who do this, but I'm a trophy hunter who also pours a lot of time into fighting games and some harder games as well, you know, like fighting games, Monster Hunter. You know, I spend a long time in other games, which is contradictory to trophy hunting, right? Who plays Monster Hunter for 2,000 hours, but then also likes to go for trophies in whatever game? So I think I've got a good, not necessarily unique perspective, but I've got a perspective from both sides of focusing on one game for a very long time because I love it. So I've got the passion for these games. But at the same time, I like getting the completion. I like getting the completion as well. So I thought that almost unique perspective would be a good foundation for making videos. And I just wanted to share that with people. Other than that, I had some inspirations that I'll go into later. I think there's a question or two about that. But yeah, generally, that's a general answer, and I'll explain it a bit further a little bit later. Oh, third question. Okay. What are your hidden trophies and games? Oh, dude, I've been caught. Right, this came up in Blacoom's trophy review as well. So yeah, I didn't even know that if you have hidden games, it shows as a big old red H in the top left of PSN profiles. And to answer your question, I'm going to make a video about it. And we're going to go over them. I did go through it the other week. I think when you put this question 4 weeks ago, I went through my hidden games list and I was like, oh gee, you know, I looked at most of them, and it'll make a good video. There's a reason and almost a story behind every one, and it's a good list of, like, you know, we're gonna say like 30 games. This would wreck my percentage. I will unhide them. I'll be transparent about that, and we'll go through them. So yeah, that'll be, you know, maybe next month or something. It's a good idea. And you gave me the idea for that video, Cosmic, so thank you, mate. Alright, yeah, great questions, dude. We'll look at the hidden games another time, but yeah, don't worry. Right, Greybush, my last trophy review, Mr. Greybush. It was wonderful. Happy birthday and congratulations. Oh, it's not a question. Thank you, dude. Well, there you go. He's just a nice guy. He doesn't want to ask a question. He's just like, yo, happy birthday. I like this guy. Thank you, Greybush, man. Right, then we've got Gupta. I'm going to close in on my bad eyesight there. Gupta UK 279. Okay, my friend. Well deserved. Thank you. Your content is top notch, so I can only see those numbers climbing. Man, you guys are so kind to me. It's really cool. Thank you so much. What was your very first games console? Wonderful question. I am the youngest brother out of 3 brothers. So I had 2 older brothers, and they would get first dibs on everything. That's just the way it is, especially growing up in the UK in the 90s, you know? There wasn't even a character for me in Super Mario. You know, who's the third character? It's not Luigi, right? I'd probably be Yoshi. But yeah, I would always be, you know, second player, put it that way. So same with consoles. I never got really a choosing in what consoles we were going to buy. So we got the NES bought for us from my grandparents, Super Nintendo,
which led to Mega Drive, which then led to my brothers getting their first jobs. And when I was obviously too young then, so they would be working and I wouldn't. So their first paychecks, they would get stuff like, I don't know, looking forward to the GameCube, Dreamcast. So I never really had a say. I was excited for, and I'm like, oh dude, you've seen GameCube and stuff, but mostly it was like, what is my brother gonna bring home today? What game is out? And I'd get the odd game for birthday and whatever. But yeah, so it's a hard question to answer because of that. The very first console I bought myself was actually the PS3. Everything before that, my brother would get, and I would play, when he would let me, which was, often, all the time. My love for gaming basically comes from what he bought and what he brought into the house. So the very first one I bought was the PS3 with my own money, but my very first console I was playing was the NES, quite simply, Nintendo. Super Mario Brothers 2 and 3, and not Metroid though, that's important. As big a Metroid fan as I am, I never played it until Super Metroid. So yeah, NES, then SNES, then Mega Drive, and then whatever else, the rest is history. Do you prefer physical or digital games? I feel like this is an easy question to answer. Physical is the literal answer. I have so many collector's editions. I'd love to show them. I want to do a video on my collector's editions. I don't have many, 200, 300 quid statues. I'm not that loaded or nuts, to be honest, but I do like the steelbook editions. I like the steelbook editions, and I pick up collectors when I can. So when, CEX, and there's an odd one for 50 quid that was 300 on release or whatever, I'll pick that up straight away. It happened with the Tekken 7. God, I don't even know where my statue is actually. I've got loads of statues. Might be in the top left there of Kazuya. So yeah, I prefer physical because of collector's editions and steelbooks, but digital, so good for convenience. They're always on sale. They're cheaper. They feel cheaper, don't they? And convenience as well. I don't want to get up every 2 minutes and put a disc in. So I prefer physical, but I appreciate the convenience of digital. That's my answer. What types of action figures do you collect? Oh man, I'm going to do a video on this as well. But basically, what can you see in the background? A couple of boxes. What have we got? I've got a Nerf pulse rifle there. I've got a whole shelf of aliens, whole shelf of horror figures at the top there. I don't know if you've seen them. There's an alien there, Predator, Jason, and Michael. So mainly horror NECA figures. Some Eaglemoss I've got, and loads of pops, which I have gone off of. I don't really get pop figures anymore. That was kind of like the first affordable figure people can get, right? They're like a tenner. My very first pop figure I got for my birthday, and it was Hodor from Game of Thrones. That's what started, the mass collection, I'd say. But yeah, I've since moved on to, some better figures. Even NECA figures aren't that great, but they're like 30, 40 quid a pop, and I've got quite a few of them, and I like them. So yeah, they're the ones I collect. And so yeah, great questions, man. Thank you very much. Then we've got the wonderful Bookable One. So happy to hear you're approaching this huge milestone of 1,000 subscribers. I got a big hug yesterday from letting them know that I had 1,000 subscribers. What inspired you to start your YouTube Twitch channel? Ooh, you mentioned a Twitch channel. Very nice. So I started on Twitch. I have 150 followers, which is the threshold for monetization, and I made a bit of money off Twitch. So I started with Twitch, and that made me fall out of love with the Twitch schedule. I found it a bit stressful to having, feeling like you needed to stream every week to be, I don't know, relevant, I guess. When I did stream, I loved it, and it's like loads of fun. I met loads of people, made a little bit of money off it, and it was good, it was good times all around, really. But it didn't really tap into my creative side. It was like fully 100% reliant on my personality and my schedule. And I found that stressful. With YouTube, I much preferred that I was able to sit back, edit for weeks, make a thumbnail for a week on my own and just chill out and play with composition, record the audio until I'm happy with it. If you do something on stream, that's it, right? You're cooked. If you do something silly or you're bad at a game or you have no viewers, which I constantly would be talking to myself. That was one thing Twitch was good for, was learning to not like the sound of my own voice, but hear myself and talk to a camera as if no one's there, but pretending there are people there. Right now, I'm pretending I'm talking to, 20 or 30 of you, and it gets me by. That's all I imagine, that I'm chatting to people like you who want to talk about some cool stuff that I like. And that's what Twitch was good for. So, yeah. And really, to fully answer your question, inspired. I missed out the inspired word. I'm going to say it was Boyman Beard, man. Boyman Beard is like a brother to me. We've known each other for many, 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 many years. We're Tekken bros from college. We literally met and we were like, yo, what's Tekken? And yeah, we just got on straight away. And he started a Twitch channel in COVID, I believe. And he did really well. I could see how confident he's, like the most confident, charismatic guy. You watch him and he's funny and he's passionate about games. And that inspired me, man. I thought, well, if my mate can do it, then maybe I can give it a go. I owe it to him because he says, Baz, you should give this a go. It's fun. You're good enough at games and stuff. And he was always very supportive. So that gave me the push to try Twitch, which then led to YouTube. So yeah, I'm going to say Boyman Beard was my inspiration. So thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Right, thank you, Book, for your question. Pocket Monster Hunter, my very first trophy list review. Love this guy. So, how did you get into trophy hunting? Yeah, because when I got a PS3, it was brand loyalty, but nothing to do with trophies. By the time I got a PS3, trophies didn't exist, but achievements did. So if I was interested in achievements inherently, I would have started with Xbox, right? But no, I started with the brand loyalty of PlayStation, and then trophies came out. So I got into trophy hunting because they were released, put it that way. I guess before that, I was always interested in completion. I've often thought about doing a video about, inspirations for why I enjoy completing games, and the answer to that is games like Resident Evil with all their crazy speedruns, time splitters, getting all the characters. There were challenges in these games, there were things to unlock that were rewarding enough even without a trophy. So when trophies started to come out, I saw it as, oh, I'm getting rewarded for completion, and this competitive edge to it where I can compare myself to other people for doing the stuff I was already doing in games 10 or 20 years ago anyway. So yeah, I really dug that I was getting these shiny rewards for completion. That's what got me into trophy hunting. And your second question is, ooh, lovely, when did you start playing the Monster Hunter games? Now, I know people are going to want me to say, oh, I started with Monster Hunter 1. I didn't at all. If we're being literal, my first Monster Hunter was Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, but I did not get along with it. I may have even sold it. Okay, blasphemy, I know, but bear with me. It was a hard bloody game. Dark Souls wasn't around then. Difficulty in games was relegated for me to NES games like Ninja Gaiden and 2D side-scrolling. Didn't really get this, this 3D tough game mentality yet. So I got to Tigrex, who's an early wall in that game, and he's a massive choreographed dinosaur running monster, and I can smoke him now. I've gone back to this game and beaten him and completed the game, but I got stuck there. So I think I got stuck at Tigrex, and then I sold the game, and that would have been when it first came out on the PSP. So, but if we're being real, then the game that really I first started Monster Hunter would have been World, right? World was a lot of people's first games where it really clicked for them. And I'm not ashamed to say, yeah, World was when I started pouring time into it. So I literally started with Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, but World really got me into it with, my friends, and the gameplay loop really stuck, and I got good at it. I actually got good at it. So yeah, hope that answers that well enough. And then we have Smoey. Hello, hello there, hello. Hello, I just discovered your channel. I don't know you, but you seem a very chill and determined person. I'd like to ask you a simple question. Very polite. Why did you start your channel? What is keeping you to continue? Community or just trophies, lol? And finally, do you plan to only dedicate your channel on trophy hunting, or would you want to try new things? Wonderful question, and welcome. Thank you. One of the more recent subscribers, I think. So I started my channel because my friend started a Twitch channel. I then got the confidence to do a Twitch channel myself, and then I wanted to go to YouTube because I fancied the editing more and the more chill kind of time relaxed time to myself where I could edit and release a video when I wanted, compared to the, my god, I feel bad for not streaming this week, and then suddenly I haven't streamed for 3 months and what am I doing, and it doesn't feel very creative to me. So that's why I started the channel. I wanted to share my experiences and my, what I hope is quite good knowledge on trophies in general. One thing I didn't mention was I used to watch, well I still watch, I don't say I used to watch, I still watch Adam McDermott, I watch LudiXP, and Stay Patient, I don't know, I can't remember how to pronounce his YouTube name. And you can't actually find his YouTube anymore because I think he might have sold it. He says a friend took over, but I don't know if he sold it. And they're called Platinum Plays now. I haven't unsubscribed, but I'm waiting for them to, you know, really get going, put it that way. So yeah, those 3 channels also inspired me to start my own because I loved what they talked about and it was relatable. You know, I'm just an everyday guy. There's nothing special about me. I just like to talk about the games I love, and I've got a bloody camera and quite a nice background, I guess, you know, because I collect loads of shit. There's, you know, other than that, there's nothing to it. Either just, so that's what inspired me. If you can relate to any of that, you pick up a camera, talk about your favorite game for a bit, talk about it for 5 minutes, release it. Who cares? Just, you know, life's too short to not take these, not even chances. You know, just do it. Do what you find enjoyable. And I wanted to start this. I felt like I left it too long as well. I could have started this in my 20s, you know, but I waited until I was 30, whatever. But it's a lot of fun, and I guess I really started it because I wanted to be like, yeah, that was fun. I didn't want to regret not doing it. That's another reason. So I hope that answers the question to you, mate. Thank you. All right, then we have Tones Goes Moo. Oh, one of my best friends. What a guy. We love him. He's got one of the greatest handles ever. Tones Goes Moo. Just let that sink in for a minute. So he said, don't feel need to answer if it's too personal. So you know they're going to be good, right? Has anything in your past, Jesus Christ, Tony, has anything in your past been the cause of you really loving a specific game or genre? Maybe even influenced how you get good at games? Great question. So, yeah, I mean, my brother, right? My brother got me into games. He bought fighting games, he bought XCOM, he bought Final Fantasy VII, you know, all these games he brought home because he was interested in them from what he read in magazines, and because he was older than me, he had a job first and was able to buy these games and bring them into the household for us to play. So that is the cause of most of my love for video games. Obviously I'd have my preferences. He would have, I don't know, Solomon's Key, we borrowed Zelda, and he had Street Fighter 2. My preference led me to Street Fighter 2. But again, that might be because we did nothing but play against each other. And that's kind of another answer to your question. I love fighting games so much because I grew up in a household where after school, we could go home and we'd play Tekken 3 for hours. We'd bring around the next door neighbour, and it'd be me, my brother, and my best friend at the time doing Winner Stays On Tekken 3 every evening after school. You know, that's living the dream to me. That is wonderful. So of course, now that I'm in my own household, with my own life, with my own video games, of course I'm gonna love fighting games online. I mean, of course I am. So yeah, that's kind of explaining that. And again, that could apply to side scrollers, that can apply to retro games, RPGs. Mostly is because of my brother. and I always love him for that, which is, you know, a wonderful memories, having a big brother with the same interests as you. Two big brothers with the same interests as you, because the other one would not play as many games, but he would still love games. He would still play Mortal Kombat with me and whatever. So both of them, massive inspirations to me in what I like and enjoy now. So I'll always be grateful for that. And then you've gone on to say, what was the very first completion of a game? AKA, saw the credits, and how old were you? I have no idea how old I was, man. I mean, I don't even know how old I am now, to be honest. You've got... I'm going to say Super Mario Brothers 3. I played 2. I don't think I ever completed it. I remember seeing the credits in Super Mario 3. And that game still blows my mind. How playable it is. How wonderful it is. I might be able... I think we tried this once. I might be able to do the first level blindfolded. It's just there in my head. I can just see it. So yeah, probably Mario Brothers 3. Maybe Doom on the SNES. Or maybe Street Fighter 2 on the NES, right? Because that had credits after you beat the game, and fighting games were really short in that you had an arcade mode. So yeah, take any of them as you will. We'd say Super Mario Brothers 3 as a single player, and Street Fighter 2 as like a quicker arcade game. So yeah, cool. Do you think the consoles you had access to growing up shaped your likes and dislikes, e.g. no Nintendo, so you play less platformers? Not necessarily, but I kind of mentioned this earlier, we never really played Zelda, so I have no affection or nostalgia for Zelda, which is weird. It's such a classic game with awesome music. You know, what happened if my brother brought home Zelda instead of Super Metroid? I probably would love Zelda instead of Metroid. It's strange to think of what could have happened had my brother brought home different games. So yeah, that is interesting. We never got the N64, so I didn't play, you know, GoldenEye for years, but I still love FPSs, so maybe that doesn't influence as much in certain ways. We had everything but an N64, and then we didn't have an Xbox for a very long time. We had, you know, PS3. I've since had an Xbox, gone back and played all these N64 games, all these Microsoft games, and yeah, so yeah, it is interesting, but maybe a bit too complicated to answer properly, I'd say. What has been your favourite platinum that included multiplayer trophies? Wow, 4 great questions from Tones there. Well, most of the multiplayer platinums I have are with you, man, so God, I'm gonna say, I mean, there's so many that we played together. I think the one I think of mostly when I think of you and me specifically, Tones, is Battlefield 3, right? We always joke we've got this dumpster on the corner of a map called Metro, and me and Tones we would just cover each other there, back to back, you know, this tiny little dumpster on a corner, indestructible, and we would just mow people down. We still mow people down, and we play competitive shooters all the time. It's Fragpunk at the moment. It used to be Valorant. It used to be, you know, Battlefield 1. We tear up whatever game we play, and with other friends too. So yeah, but I think I'm going to take that as my favourite with you, Tones, because I can't really think of any others right now. I'm going to say Battlefield 3, man. That was a lot of fun. This is from Mr. Healthy Plays. Has doing the trophy list reviews encouraged you to try and games, I'm going to say any games or genres you normally would not play? I don't know, man. I don't think there's a genre I don't play. There's certainly ones I don't talk about on the channel as much as I've had the opportunity to, but I love strategy games, card games, shooters, puzzles, platformers, visual novels. I love Steins Gate's one of my favourite games of all time, and I don't ever really mentioned it, you know? Steins Gate's just a simple reading, look at your phone, click on things, but it's one of the greatest stories I've ever read, and I love it. So yeah, visual novels. I guess if I found a sports game that I really enjoyed through a trophy list review, I might be willing to try that out. That's likely the genre I play the least. Racing and sports. I play, you know, Crash Team Racing, kart races, arcade races, and like Micro Machines and stuff. So something like that would pick my interest. So yeah, bit of a non-answer, but maybe a sports game or a racing game that I really fancied. Right, moving on, we have Curse Banet. Oh, MVP question, my friend. Top 5 fighting games, top 5 favorite fighting game characters. You guys know me, man. I mean, fighting games are my jam. They're my favorite, and I'm pretty knowledgeable about them, I hope. Or at least, you know, knowledgeable about the big three. There's lots of fighting games I don't play, a few more obscure ones, but, you know, oh god, top 5 fighting games. Are we going one per franchise, or are we saying ever? I don't know if I can put them in order, so I'm just going to go Super Street Fighter 2 with the introduction of the new challengers, you know, Cammy, DJ, T-Hawk, Fei Long. The idea of a fighting game getting an update to me was insane. Like, oh my god, it's new, it's better, it's rebalanced, it has new characters, and it's playing in the background right there. My Street Fighter 2 arcade, which I love. I think I'm going to go Mortal Kombat Trilogy instead of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 because of the sheer amount of characters in that game. It had every single character in the game, and yeah, Ultimate Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the PS1 was really cool, really cool. So I'll go with that. Then we got to go with Tekken 3 because it's my favourite Tekken. It's one I've not played it as much as other Tekkens. You know, I've got 1,000 hours in 7. God knows what I've got in Tag 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 now. I'm about, 400 hours in. But Tekken 3 really was, I mentioned it earlier, after school, playing with my brother and my best friend at the time. Learning different characters, playing practice mode, and resetting it every time I dropped a combo. You didn't learn a combo until you'd done it 10 times in a row from both sides. Otherwise you can't tick it off in your head, you don't know the combo. I used to play practice mode first to 10k damage on the highest difficulty, and memories like that, they're priceless. They're so cool. So that's what I'm basing these answers on, is what memories I have of them and what I love about them. And then we're gonna go, if we're going one from each franchise, then Soul Calibur 2 on the Dreamcast. Dreamcast was an underloved console, but it was the first online one for me, and I remember, Soul Calibur 2 was just amazing. I can't remember if that had online or not. Oh god, I just thought something else. So yeah, we'll say Soul Calibur 2 because of its arcade perfectness. And then we're going to go Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection because of the thought I just had. The first ever online Tekken. Amazing. I couldn't believe I was fighting other people online. That was just wild to me. I got owned, and I think at some point I was like the 10th best Lee in Europe. Really narrowing down of a search filters there. It's cherry-picked leaderboard, but I was there, man. I've got a photo of it somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then I don't know, is that 5? I think that's 5. I love Mortal Kombat 10, Mortal Kombat 11 I really loved. There's a lot to say. I wouldn't be able to put them in order, and my favourites of all time would probably contain 2 or 3 Tekkens, Street Fighter, and a Mortal Kombat. I've got to say Street Fighter Alpha 3 as well, my god. Yeah, I grew up with that. Alpha is definitely one of my favourite series. There's a lot there. I haven't really answered it, but maybe I should do a video on it. Maybe I should do a video and really collate my thoughts. Same with top 5 fighting game characters, man. I think I should make a video on this. Maybe a non-trophy related video, but top 5 favourite fighting game characters. We're going to go with Reptile from Mortal Kombat. We're going to say Leo from Tekken, who was in it from Tekken 6. They are my main, and I love them, and they're perfect. Reptile is just my favourite ninja, really cool. Who do I like from SNK? I'm going to be basic and say Terry. Terry's just so nice, Terry Bogard. He's like the most chill dude there is in SNK, so yeah, he's really cool. But I like Mai, I like Shuri. SNK is something I've gotten into recently. I didn't grow up with it. I never really played other than Capcom versus SNK 2, which is going to have to go into the top 5 fighting games as well. Oh my god, there's too many. There's too many, dude. Yeah, too many. So yeah, we're gonna say Terry. We're gonna say Sakura from Street Fighter. She's just one of. I love that there's like a disciple to Ryu who's like young and naive and just optimistic, and she's so fun. She's so cool, and you know, fighting girl, schoolgirl, messing up wrestlers, and it's just, yeah, she's awesome, dude. So yeah, Reptile, Sakura, Terry, Leo from Tekken, and Lee Chaolan from Tekken as well. His battle screams, I still do around the flat today, you know, just always going, whoa, whatever. And he kind of R2-D2, that's what Lee Chaolan sounds like when he's fighting. And then every other favourite fighting game character is like ones I'm good with. I kind of have ones who are my favourites and ones I'm actually good with. Leo is the exception. Leo's my main, and I'm good with her, and I love how they look as well. Reptile, I'm only good with in Mortal Kombat 1. I'm not very good with him in any other game, but he's always been my favourite character. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to do a video on that, I think, to talk about that a bit more. A little bit more. Right. Future your platinums you want. I think you're saying just future platinums you want, which I've kind of mentioned a few times before, and this is from JCar08. If I'm going to narrow it down to one, I guess Aliens Fireteam Elite and Divinity Original Sin 2. They're the two I kind of want at the moment, but it changes. You know, I play a game, I leave it. Could be years before I decide to go for them. Then we've got Boyman Beard, the inspiration himself. Would you ever consider Xbox achievement hunting for titles from past eras not available on PS? This is another one I would like to make a video on, my friend, because I have an Xbox account and with a fair few achievements. Not that many, don't get too excited. I've got a couple of 100%, and mostly it's like a time capsule from ages ago of what I was playing in the 2010s. That's when I last really played Xbox. Nowadays, and not even recently, I would use Game Pass to try a game, see how far I got with the achievements, and then buy it on a PlayStation to fully commit to the trophies, which, you know, from a monetary standpoint is insanity. So yes, I would consider Xbox hunting. I'd even make videos for it if I knew people would enjoy it. You know, I'm not tethered down to any one system. I play Nintendo, I play PC, probably more than PlayStation. Somehow, you know, I play multiplayer shooters every night. I play Snap on here, Marvel Snap on PC. So yeah, achievement hunting I'd be no stranger to, and I would like to bring my percentage up. And I'll do a video on my Xbox account, and we'll have a look at it, and you can tell me what you guys think. All right, thank you, Boyman. Check him out. He's always streaming, as always. Oh wow, okay, I think we're down to the second to last question. I think there's one more question on the community post I did. I don't want to miss that out. I just can't remember what it is. But the last one on the video is, you have a voice that's very attention grabbing. Notice how I'm getting closer to the mic here. Have you ever thought of doing game documentaries? Thank you very much for your kind comment. I would love to do video game documentaries. The only problem is I don't have the patience or the brains, the intelligence to deep dive into games I love. One of my favourite videos I rewatch every now and again is a Signalis deep dive explanation video. This thing's like 2 or 3 hours long, and he just goes over every facet, every symbology, every image in the game, every meaning, every explanation of it, and I love that stuff. I love deep dive videos. I could do like a passion project one where I love it so much I can talk about how much I love it, why I love it, the memories I associate with it. I could do a deep dive in that way, but I wouldn't be able to do, like, unless reading from a script, I wouldn't be able to do like, this is why Axiom Verge is underwater in this bit, because it's the symbology of being suffocated. You know, I wouldn't be able to do that as much as I would love. Just not smart enough. Or learned enough. You know, a lot of these have, artists and composers from God knows when. And yeah, it's just, too much to deep dive into it. My passion is in playing games and then in proxy telling people how much I enjoy those games. I don't really have the smarts to deep delve and, you know, work things out and then show people that I just play them and I love them. And I think that's good enough. But yeah, thank you for your kind comment there. So I know I've got one from Swift Guyver. I think he was the only fella who commented on the community post I did. So I'm just going to find that. And this is how you can really tell I'm doing it live, because I've got a clue what's going on. Right, here we go. Wonderful question, Swift Guyver. Right, Swift Guyver, congratulations. Thank you, my friend. Who are your top 5 video game characters of all time? So I'm going to do this separate to the fighting game ones. Otherwise, the fighting games ones would take precedent. They would take priority. Because in the end, I've completely mind blanked, so, and without fighting games involved, so I'm going to try and just name 5 off the top of my head. We're going to go Lara Croft, we're saying Jill Valentine, we're also going to go with Red 13 and Samus Aran from Metroid. Top it all off, God, I don't know. Doom Guy, we're going to say Doom Guy. Doom Guy is definitely up there as well. I might have to do a whole video on that and give it some more thought. My brain is fried. This has been quite a long Q&A, but I hope that answers your question somewhat, Swift Guyver, who has a fantastic name, by the way, because I absolutely love Guyver. Okay, guys, that's all the questions. Bit of a longer video, and obviously not quite a trophy list review, but I hope you enjoyed listening to the answers. Thank you to everyone who left a comment. Thank you for the 1,000 subscribers. And I reached 4K watch hours as well over the weekend, so actually monetized now. I don't think I'm going to do anything with it. You know, you might see ads on the videos now, but I'm not going to change anything. There's not going to be any like tiers or anything, or, you know, I might. Now I don't have to push out videos as often if I don't want to. I might think of live streaming on Twitch again and things like that. But yeah, this is a wonderful little celebration for me and for you guys who have helped me to this point. Without, you know, people watching, subscribing or commenting or liking, I wouldn't be able to make this video where I get to talk about everything that I love and share it with you guys. And that's what I like doing. I like sharing my experiences and what I like with everyone who wants to listen. So extremely thankful for all that. So next, what are we looking at? We're probably going to be thinking about another trophy list review. I've still got to do, what I am behind on is actual platinum videos. I'm either doing lists or reviews lately. I'd like to do a couple more solo game random platinum reviews, so I've got a few in the works there. Other than that, I hope you're enjoying what's going on. Please subscribe if you're not already, if you like what I like and you want a review, you leave your PSN in the comments, all that good stuff. But yeah, that's about it, my friends. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.